All right, hi guys. Welcome to the webinar. Thanks for taking the time out of your morning to join us today. So content of a webinar is going to be VAT reporting changes and what you urgently need to know. More commonly referred to, the strapline you may have heard is making tax digital. So we're going to be talking through a little bit about what that means for you as someone that is self-employed, someone that's VAT registered, what the next steps are, what the implications might be. So first of all, a couple of introductions. My name's Ben. I'm the sales team manager here at Crunch. So I'm responsible for bringing on all of our new clients to Crunch, talking them through their situation, giving them a little bit of advice and getting them on board proper. And with me, we've got Luke, who's our quality coach here at Crunch, so a really good person to impart this knowledge about VAT and making tax digital. Thanks for joining us, Luke. So first of all, what we're going to be talking about, I think I touched on it, is the VAT reporting changes. Send us your questions. There's a little drop down on the GoToWebinar interface where you can type in your questions. So get those in there at any point. You don't need to wait to get those questions at the end, but we're going to be answering them at the end. So the sooner you can get those in, the more we can answer when we get to the end of the presentation. So first of all, a little bit about Crunch and what we do. You know, why are we doing this webinar and what makes us kind of thought leaders on these topics. So primarily Crunch is an accountancy practice. So it's accountancy software as alongside accountancy support as well. So not only do we do accountancy, but we do self-employed mortgages, small business insurance, help with investments and pensions as well. Every client that we have has a dedicated point of contact, being a client manager who can advise and support them on any topic accountancy related, making tax digital being one of them. So first of all, let's think about what exactly is making tax digital. It's probably something that people would have seen, heard about, but potentially not given too much attention to. So maybe if we start with what exactly is it?
Yeah. Well, it's HMRC's plans to finally modernise and come into the new age of technology and start making it easier for people to keep track of their own tax affairs. A lot of people at the end of their business struggle sometimes to know what their tax position is, and it's only when you have your year-end accounts produced, for example, that you know what your bill is. Now HMRC have decided that actually it's far easier for themselves, of course, and for individuals and businesses for everything to be digital, so that everything's streamlined, everything's online. I mean, I think nowadays everybody uses online services, whether that's banking, shopping, for example, as well. So I think, in fairness, it's something that's just long overdue.
Yeah, sure.
And like I say, it is something that they've been talking about, I believe, since 2016. And they're going to roll this out now on the 1st of April 2019 for VAT, first of all. Their plans then are to see how it goes for the next couple of years. So once it's tried, tested and proven that it works well for VAT, they're then going to try and roll this out for other taxes as well, and that includes personal tax as well.
So April 19, we're just looking at VAT.
Yeah.
That's going to be effective. So what exactly does it mean for your business? Does it mean we have to make any changes? Do we need to take action now? Do we need to wait until April 19? What exactly do we need to do?
I mean, like with anything, you're better to get ahead of the curve than to wait until the last moment. We all know what HMRC are like, and when they do make these changes, they come in thick and fast. So why wait? You know, if you have the potential to get online software and you've got the potential to look at businesses that can assist you with this, get started straight away. Especially, as I say, if you're VAT registered. If you are on either scheme, flat rate or standard, just start the process now. Start fishing around for companies that provide this sort of service, and just get yourself ready for it, because as I say, there isn't any room for movement with this in that respect. So get started now, get used to it. It'll give you a cushion time then to get used to this new software, whichever one you use, whether it's ourselves, whether it's elsewhere. Just start the process now.
So it's a move away from from potentially, old school paper records. Do things like having Excel being Excel software, no?
You can. Excel software you can still use, however, you have to then ensure that you have what's called API links to HMRC's online portal.
Right.
So that will send real-time information directly through to HMRC so that they can keep track of what your tax positions are.
Mm-hmm.
So VAT primarily is done on a quarterly basis. It doesn't mean that the deadlines are going to change. So in terms of when your quarterly returns are due, the payment dates, etc., that all stays the same. It's more so just about how that information is fed to HMRC. By all means, if you want to use spreadsheets, you can do, and if you're a wizard on IT, you can get those API links incorporated to it.
Seems like more work than it's needed.
It gets a bit messy. So again, have a look at online accounting that does actually have those already in place.
Sure.
I mean, us, for example, we're way ahead of the game in that respect. We already do that for VAT, not to mention the other taxes as well. As I mentioned, this is going to roll out to other taxes if all goes well in their eyes. Try to move away from the sort of archaic method of spreadsheets.
It's going to make your life a bit easier, really, isn't it?
Totally.
So what exactly is it that we need to keep digitally? Now, there's a bit of a wall of text there, but give us the highlights.
Well, as you can see, there is a lot of information that you will have to consider when you do this. And as you've already said, give yourself a bit of an easier ride in that respect. I mean, you can use, like I say, spreadsheets. You can stick to old habits if you really want to, but consider all of these points here is something that you will eventually, maybe not necessarily now, but you will eventually have to feed all of this information through digitally to HMRC. If you use online accounting, that gets all of those points there get condensed into an item of software.
Great. So that's ideal then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what exactly should people be looking for when they're thinking, okay, right, I'm going to move away from Excel or however it is that I'm doing things at the moment. I know this is something I need to do relatively soon. Let's go out and have a look at something. What should we be looking for?
You should be looking for something that's easy, fluid, or almost seamless in a way as well. You as a director of your own business, you want to primarily focus on your business, right? You don't want to have the fiddly job of the taxes. That's what you get an accountant for, essentially. If you've got software, you can take that stress away. You won't have to think, have I sent this in on time? You can input it all into a software. It gets fed through direct to HMRC. And as you say, as it says there, you're future-proofing your business if you start now. And it will save you an incredible amount of time. Not only that as well, with regards to things like receipts and invoices, paper trail, I guess, to a certain extent. You can ditch all of that. You can get rid of the shoebox, the filing cabinet. You can store everything online, and then you have those electronic records for good, as long as you want.
Well, it's kind of how we do everything else, isn't it, in our life? It's interesting. So we mentioned at the start that it is just for those businesses that are VAT registered, right? So what if you're not VAT registered or not above the VAT threshold?
You've got more time. As I say, 2020 is the sort of rollout of everything in their eyes. It's only for VAT registered businesses right now at this moment in time. You can, if you're below the threshold and you've decided to voluntarily register for VAT, you actually get the option then to opt in to this making tax deductible. It's not enforced on you in that respect. However, just be aware that once you're opted in, you're in. There's no going back. So you need to make sure that you've done your research, you've made an informed decision before you make that step into that world.
So just to recap, it's only mandatory for those that are VAT registered and above the threshold. Below the threshold, but still VAT registered, have the option to opt in. But once you're in, you're in. You can't then opt out again.
Exactly.
Right. So what happens if we don't heed your advice, Luke, and we don't get ready in time? What potential implications might there be?
As with most things with HMRC, you may have the potential of facing penalties and fines if you do decide that, I'm going to opt in and then you don't uphold those requirements. What those penalties are, that's still very much up in the air at the moment. Again, this doesn't affect things like deadlines or VAT payments that are due. The surcharges, the penalties in that respect remain the same. However, as of the 1st of April, there's nothing actually on paper at the moment to determine, well, you haven't done this in time.
Okay.
Whether you get some form of leeway, some sort of, I don't know, trial, I guess, to a certain extent. But I think with HMRC, because this has been planned since 2016, chances are that probably isn't going to be any.
Okay, well, best that you don't get yourself into that situation.
Exactly. Again, it's all about just preempting everything, isn't it? Just getting ahead of the game. Why wait until the last moment and run that risk, essentially?
So these are the tips that you want people to take away, right?
So you need to break your old habits as best as you can. Just move into the modern era, start using technology, move away from those Excel spreadsheets. As much of a wizard as you may be, just start, essentially step out of your comfort zone a little bit in that respect. Start using software, start getting your receipts online and storing them digitally, chuck out the shoebox, the filing cabinet, all that sort of stuff. And with us especially, we're already ready for MCD. We've already got these things in place. VAT we already handle specifically. PAYE is exactly the same. Corporation tax as well. So find yourself somebody that is already ahead.
Great. So be that us, be that someone else. If anyone wants to have a chat with us about taking these steps towards getting themselves MTD ready, just give us a call. Get in touch with one of the guys in the office. We're more than happy to help.
One other thing at the very last point as well, should you be VAT registered or not? That's something that as directors you guys need to decide. Obviously the threshold here is 83,000, so you have to then register for VAT. With the option of registering for VAT, it's always best to consider it anyway, because there will always be things that you can claim VAT back on. So again, if you are considering or want more information about VAT, just get in touch with us. We can give you the advice on what you should consider.
Perfect. So one good source of information, be it about MTD, anything accountancy for that matter, is a community that we run called Crunch Chorus. We've got access to things like this webinar, meetups, so networking events, all sorts of different white papers, through to free tools like invoicing tools, late payment reminders, all that type of thing. It's all completely free. So have a look at Crunch Chorus. It's crunch.co.uk/chorus, and have a look around there. There's no cost at all. Here are some recommended resources that we're going to give you to take away, where you can read up on all this stuff, some links to handy sites and things. But what I think might be a good idea now is if we touch on the Q&A. So hopefully we've got some questions coming in here. So let's have a quick look at what we might be asking. So, okay, let's start here. How do I find out if I should be VAT registered?
Again, you need to really consider what your expenditures are, what your overheads are on the business. If you've got a lot of outgoings that have VAT applied on them, it would make sense to consider a VAT scheme of sorts. Software like ours actually does quarterly checks on your account as well. So if you're not VAT registered currently, every 3 months it will run a report that triggers something to our accountants that says if you continue recording this amount of sales, you then need to consider registering for VAT. So again, this highlights that everything here is ahead of that. It's a step forward already onto what a lot of other accountancy firms do currently.
Okay, so should I be concerned about how my clients are handling their VAT?
No, I mean, nothing about how you currently work with your clients is going to change. It's literally just the way that it's handled and how it's fed.
Okay. What if my business filing deadline goes over the 1st of April?
So making tax digital for VAT will apply to your first full VAT period. So that's going to be the period that starts on the 1st of April 2019. So I suppose let's have a look at a couple of examples. So if you've got a VAT return that ends on the 31st of March 2019, your first VAT quarter under Making Tax Digital, as I say, is going to start on the 1st of April in that case. So it'll be from the 1st of April for the next 3 months, and that will be your Making Tax Digital period. I suppose another example, if you've got a May end date, so if there's a crossover,
Yeah.
Then your first VAT quarter under Maker Tax Digital will start on the 1st of June.
Okay, so it's whatever VAT period starts after the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right, so
what we've got here.
So if you are already filing your VAT online, is this the same or is there more to it?
No, it's exactly the same. In actual fact, that's what you should be doing. So
Okay.
if you are doing it perhaps yourself through HMRC Online's portal, crack on.
Absolutely fine.
Crack on.
Okay, perfect. Right, what else have we got here? Will using Crunch be the using software? So do we Crunch users need to do any additional movements in the web app or outside of it? So I suppose if we're using Crunch, is there anything else that we need to do?
Carry on as usual. Carry on as usual. As I mentioned, it's still, we have that already in place. So when you submit your VAT returns through Crunch, that's already going to be fed through to HMRC Online. Happy days.
Okay. I think this one is a little bit like the one we just answered, but Fiona asked, I just use Excel to calculate the VAT. I don't send the spreadsheet to HMRC. I then input the figures online and submit my VAT return online. Is this MTD compliant, or do I need to stop using Excel, get an API link figured out?
Yeah, you're bang on, Fiona. To be honest with you, you do need to consider putting APIs. Carry on using the spreadsheet as much as you want, to be totally honest, but you need to get some API link imported into that spreadsheet so that it does start feeding that through on a quarterly basis.
Okay. If I continue to use the flat rate scheme, bearing in mind that I have minimal expenses on which I could claim VAT recovery under a full VAT registration, will the digital record keeping be limited to information about paid invoices and the flat rate VAT due on those invoices?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I think what we'll do, Tom, on that one is come back to you on that one, because that is a bit of a specific accountancy related question. So we'll get back to you on that one, Tom, and we'll get an accountant in touch with you.
Okay, great. So what else have we got? I think we've pretty much covered everything, if I'm honest. So what we'll do, if there's anything else that we think that we need to circle back to, like Tom's question, we're going to give everyone kind of answers and copies of the presentation after this. So I think we'll draw a line under there. Thanks very much, everyone, for your questions, for your time that you've taken out of your day to listen to us in relation to this webinar. Check back in. We do these regularly, probably once a month we do these webinars. So keep checking in with us, and we'll definitely have something again for you soon. So thanks again for your time. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.